For this class, you're going to need a textbook. The textbook that I have provided for you is a custom-made textbook for this class, so it covers absolutely everything you're going to need to know. So you won't need to read anything outside of this textbook. Now, I have written it in a digital format. This way, you can get instant access. You can read it on a variety of devices. You don't have to carry around a ginormous book, and it's much cheaper than it would have been otherwise. So did a bunch of things there. So you have links on Canvas here to find this textbook. There's also links in the syllabus and a variety of other places. But if you want to buy this book directly, you're going to go to greatriverlearning.com. So it's this website right here, greatriverlearning.com. You should see this page coming up. You're going to click on the Students tab, okay, and then you're going to try to, this will answer a bunch of questions about various things. That way you'll know basically how the whole book is going to work. Then, if you want to find the textbook, so the textbook that we're using is Veterinary Entomology. It's all fun and games until somebody gets Lyme disease. So you can search for it by the title, search for it by the ISBN. You can search for it by the keyword like entomology or vet ento, or you can search for it by my last name. So then you can see everything that I've written. So this is our textbook here. If you click on that, it gives you an overview of everything that is going on there. And then you just click the purchase button. Okay, so once you click this purchase button, it's going to take you to this site. Okay, so this is grlcontent.com. This is where you're going to log in every time to read your textbook. All right, now, if you already have an access code, the access codes are things that you can buy at the MSC bookstore. So these will be just a little cardboard card that has the book title on it and an access code on the back. So you can enter in your access code here. These access codes, the bookstore orders a certain number of them, so they might be back ordered. They usually only order about half of the number of students that are actually in this class. So if you go into MSC and you find that they do not have the access cards, don't back order it. It'll take about 3 weeks until you can actually get your book, and that will suck. So instead, just purchase it directly through the Great River Learning site, and you also get a slightly cheaper price because they don't mark it up. Okay, so you can click purchase now or whatever. And then once you put in your access code, once you purchase it, whatever you're going to do, it's going to ask you to create an account. So you just, normally create your account, walk through all the stuff. If there's any technical issues, there's this little support link down here at the bottom. So you can email them. We do have a dedicated person helping us out with this textbook. So you should get an answer pretty quickly. Then once you get your textbook, you're going to sign in. And you're going to see all your textbooks here, any announcements and whatever else. I won't really communicate with you too much through GRL this way, but the support staff will. So if you contact them, you can do that. And you just hit this little play button and you've got your textbook. It'll ask you which section you're in. So, you're going to be in section 201 or whatever. Whatever section you're in. Make sure you have your correct section, just because I want to make sure that I'm actually getting you the grades that you need. Okay, so then you're going to open up to this textbook. It's going to start with this about this textbook. We'll tell you how to use it, all that sort of stuff. Then you've got a couple of tabs up at the top here. This note for you is just a little bit about how I want things to run this semester, a little bit of information, something on the footnotes. You'll notice that there's a lot of footnotes throughout this textbook. This gives me a chance to give you a little bit of extra information, make a snarky comment, something. Then the chapters are right here. So these are all your chapters that you need to read for the semester. Once you click on it, it'll open up in a new page, and it has everything you possibly need. All right there, pictures and whatnot. Now, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the footnotes, and then you'll see a chapter quiz. At the end of every reading assignment, you have a reading quiz. So this reading quiz is multiple choice, generally questions, that usually about 10 of them, that are directly from the textbook. So you go through and you answer these sorts of things. You save your answer. You can submit it for a grade, whatever. This will go into your grade book at the end here. Now, this grade book will keep track of your reading quiz grades. I will hand enter these final reading quiz grades into Canvas at the end of the semester. So you have until 11:59 p.m. on the last day of finals week to get all this done. So make sure you do it. These same quiz questions you will see again on your unit quizzes. And then as you go through your exams, any one of these questions that is really easy to turn into a fill-in question, you're going to find I turned into a fill-in question you also see on the exam. So you should see it a few times and practice. So by the time you're to the exams, you should be able to get this question right, no problem. Okay, now, the other thing about chapters or about this book, is that this is your very first opportunity to get extra credit this semester. So you'll notice I've written a whole bunch of chapters. I've got 23 chapters of differing lengths in there. This has a whole bunch of basic material, information that you'll have reiterated in slightly different ways in different forms, a little more broad material in here, and then I focus a little bit more in lecture, so it all works together in that manner. Okay. The issue with this, if you haven't heard me talk about it before yet, I'll talk about it over and over again this semester, is I'm severely dyslexic, which means spelling, I can't do it. And so I will miss things like mad. Now, I've got editors and all that who usually catch stuff, but every once in a while, especially if it's a scientific name, if it's a concept that the English editors have never seen before, I might spell it wrong and I might miss it. It happens. Or I might miss a word or, something like that. So if you find a mistake, a typo, something that you think is incorrect in this textbook, I want you to fill out a form really quickly. So you're going to fill out the link on eCampus or on Canvas that is to the textbook incorrect or the textbook error reporting form. So that's under a bunch of different places on Canvas. Probably the easiest way to find it is if you go to the front page and you've got your error reporting forms right down here. So if you click on that, it'll take you to this textbook error reporting form, and it'll ask you to fill this out. And it'll just ask, what's your name? What is your email address so I can keep track of you? What chapter is it in? And you have a little drop down of all the different chapters. And then it'll ask you what is the mistake and where. So just tell me exactly where it is. There's no real page numbers or anything, but give me an orientation. Is it near a picture or something like that? So do that. And then tell me what it should be, because this lets me know that you actually know that this is a mistake because of these things. Now, every once in a while, people will notice something that isn't actually a mistake. It was written on purpose, and then I'll be like, well, no, actually, that's not a mistake. But just in case, it's right here, and I'll let you know if, no, that was written on purpose. That's actually correct. Now you know. So learning things. Okay, so you write this in here, and then you'll be good to go. Now, for every error you find in the textbook, you will earn half a point of extra credit for a max of, I forget what it is. It's under the extra credit there. So you have a max that you can do. But I, again, will go through that list and add those at the very end of class. So the after everything is due, that's when I'll go in and do this, and you'll see a little bit of extra credit added to your grade. All right, so that's the basics of the chapter. You'll also have the keys here. So these are all the keys that you're going to need to ID your specimens during lab. So all the keys are available for you here. There are a lot of color photos and stuff on them, but feel free to print them if you want to. I want you to be able to use these as best you can. I personally like having it on online. Or in an electronic format, so you can download this as a PDF or something, because I like reading on my iPad and doing that sort of thing. But people want to read things differently, so do what you need to do. So all that's there. If you click here, you'll see the grade book. I'm not going to open up because you'll see everybody's name, and that's against various privacy laws, but you'll click the grade book and you'll see what you earned on each one of these quizzes, and you'll be good to go. All right, so that's basically it for the textbook. Let me know if you have any questions.